Hey guys, welcome back to another strategy testing video. So we are going to be testing two strategies today, but we're not doing them independently. We are going to be stacking, one being the one that I just posted, the final modification of dual strike dozens. I made a variation of that same strategy using columns, so that's going to be stacked using dual strike columns. The idea behind this is to create some overlap jackpot potential. We're going to up the unit size. I got some feedback from you guys, said it's too slow, didn't make enough profit. All you need to do is up that unit size, increase the bankroll size, and you can make more money using this strategy. Today we're going to stack them and hopefully stack some profit. So I'm going to skip all the fluff, all the talk, and let's just jump right into it, okay? Okay, $10 unit sizes is what we're using today. And we are going to start this session. And again, I'm going to run it in auto mode. So having the software place the bets for me. Okay, so starting balance with this one, I think we can get away safely with $1,000 using $10 units. So we're going to do $1,000 bankroll. Of course, base unit size for both strategies will be $10. And then before we start, looking over here, you can see we're starting from scratch. We want to upload some of this data before we start the session. So I'm going to temporarily disable these. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this history board right here, some of them. So we're going to go 16, 15, 23, 25, 28, and 18. Now let's go ahead and activate these strategies. Actually, let me remove this last one. I'm going to just undo that last one. That way, when I click on it, we can place the bets. Okay. So make sure auto bet is enabled. I know that's not a real casino table, but I have tried in the past to post that kind of content and YouTube did not like it. They flagged me, had to take down the videos. You guys keep asking. I understand some of you guys are new to the channel and don't remember that happening. I'm going to be posting a lot of my live play on the new website. So if you're interested in checking that out, you could see a lot of feedback from our inner circle members, and they've shared a lot of positive feedback on the software. All right, auto bet enabled. Again, starting from scratch, last number that came in is 18. So let's click in 18 right here in the input table and let it do its thing. So again, dual strike dozens, we created a version of dual strike columns. And it's going to, these are actually both set up in the same manner. Okay. So if you've seen the previous video, if you have not seen the dual strike dozens final modification, the link will be in the description down below. So you can check that out. I have both of them set up to run exactly the same way. So we are following the two hot dozens and the two hot columns. I shouldn't say hot. Let's call them last to hit. All right. That was what? Spin number 2. The first one was a small loss of $10. And we got an overlap right there, right? So we hit that third dozen, but we also hit this first column. Okay, going left to right, you got dozen 1, 2, 3. Going bottom to top, you got column 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are currently up $40 after our first or our second spin. Okay, so now let's go ahead and punch that in. What came in last was that 34 red. So come over here, punch it in, hands off the mouse, let it do its thing. That was a small loss. What we're aiming for is at least $200 in profit. I want to try to roll out and see if we could do another 50% of bankroll on this one. So that would mean that we're shooting for $500 in profit. Okay. So 12 came in. Let's go ahead and punch that in. And this one, I'm more curious to see how this one runs. I think the dual, whether you choose one or the other, whether you like to play columns or you like to play dozens, ideally, I think that the best thing to do is have it as a base strategy, right? So if you want to run a more aggressive strategy, like you have some kind of street strategy that you're playing with, this would essentially act more of a hedge bet, knowing that this type of strategy has a low volatility. And then that way you could have a little bit of overlap on, some kind of more aggressive street play that you're doing. So stacking strategies, there's a lot of merit to this and a lot of coverage. Okay. It is going to have a lot of partial losses, but in the same breath, just be patient. Things tend to work out in your favor. All right. So we are currently minus 9 units. So we are in the negative. 7 red comes up. 7 red's going to be that overlap. We got a $70 return. And we're going to go ahead and punch in 7 next. All right. So remember, these are 2 separate strategies, meaning that they are going to reset separately. Okay. Now, within one strategy, you have both of the bets, like the dozens strategy, they are running independently. And then like Joe brought up in the past, like that we just recently implemented in one of the strategies is the rebalancing factor. And I have them both set at 6. All right, we got 10 black. 10 black is going to be a hit. Go ahead and punch that in. We are in a new session profit of plus 110. Or you could look at this in unit sizes, and we are up 11 units. We are aiming for $500. I'm not going to put a spin count on that. The software is tracking all the spin counts, the wins, the losses, and everything in between, the profit highs, the profit lows. So we could review that at the end. Aiming for 500, which is a very, very good return. Think about it in a business sense or a stock trading sense. Most of these guys that are in those fields, whether you have your own business, they are very happy with a 3% return to 5% return. And that's why I set this up for my personal gains to be lower. That way I could compound them using compounding interest, right? That idea to continuously grow my bankroll. All right, session profit dropped, so it's currently at $30 or 3 units in the positive. That 0 did not help, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and punch in the 0, let it place the bets for us. And I think we are at our low. Previously, I think we dipped down minus 11 units. We're currently minus 12 units. And we do get a 9 red. Is that a good one? Yeah, that's a $140 return. So we are going to go ahead and punch in the 9 next. And you can see right there, it's keeping track of the wins and losses. So looking over, I'm going to let it place its bet right now. I don't want to interrupt the bet placement. Again, this is good for taking out human error and keeping track of everything. Looking over here, we got 4 wins against 7 losses on the columns. We got 6 wins against 5 losses on the dozens, okay? And we got 11 black on that one. That's a good hit. So we just hit a new session profit of $150 or 15 units if just easier to look at it that way. So if you're using a dollar unit, of course, it's only going to be 15 bucks. But I just wanted to show some of you guys that and wanted a visual of this running with a higher unit size. There's another positive 12 units, $120. So 23 red came in. So we're going to punch that in next. Now we're up $270. Again, we are trying to fish out at least 50% of our bankroll. That's a big ask for many strategies out there, okay? And I personally do not recommend pushing that this high, but this type of strategy does have a fairly low volatility rate, meaning it is lower risk. It's not completely out of risk. There is no such thing as no risk strategy. So if you find any out there or any claims out there that say there's no risk, that's a bunch of BS. That's why I preach, and I have information down in the description below that elaborates on this and how to build your bankroll and how to bend the odds of making money with this in your favor. All right, so 27 red came up. Not a good number for us. So we're going to go ahead and click that in. Then we just temporarily drop down to -10. And we have a 21 unit total bet. We're going to need a good hit right here. And we get a 33 black. That is 21 units coming back to us. Definitely take that. Punch in the 33. Let it bet for us. But yeah, like I was saying, checking out at 3%. A lot safer, a lot easier, and a lot more consistent to do. If you're starting off with a $1,000 bankroll, I know 3% doesn't sound like much because it's not, right? It really is not a lot of money, and it's hard for people to stop and play disciplined when they have $1,000. They want to double their money. They want to make another $1,000, or maybe in this case, we're shooting for 50%. They want to make $500, you know, and that can happen and that will happen at times. But what I'm trying to highlight and what I teach is how often does that happen? Okay. And how are you tracking your wins and losses? Do you have a spreadsheet where you're tracking every single session? I would say 99% of the people that play, they do not play that way. So if you do have a little bit of discipline, you keep track of your stuff. I know it's not a fun way to play. A lot of people don't like to play this way, and that's okay. You do not have to play this way. But if you want to be consistent and you want to grow that bankroll instead of just, you know, playing on hopes and prayers, check out the link. There's a lot of information in there. I am going to be releasing some more information soon about building a bankroll plan and how to do it and why you should be doing it. And that will be coming out soon. All right, so we're kind of floating up and down right now. We are currently plus 27 units. We're going for plus 50 units. Our high was 290. And let's see what we get here. All right, that's a small loss, minus 30. I'm going to punch that in. And see, here's a benefit of also stacking strategies. Now, this is large coverage. So between these two strategies, they are running independently on their own progressions. So we ideally are fishing out those overlapping hits to really boost us back into a profit or into a new session profit. So sometimes they're going to be a little bit lower of profit. Sometimes they're going to be massive. It just really depends on where that bet amount is, right? So if you have one of your higher bets on a dozen and then one of your higher bets on a column and you overlap those four numbers and one of those four numbers hits, it's going to be a massive boost, okay? So keep that in mind. You can adjust these units and that's what makes it more powerful. So small loss right there of 5 units. 15 black came in. We're going to click that in, see what we get next. We're going to need a good hit. And remember, this is rebalancing too. So for instance, right now on this bet placement, if we get 15, 18, that top row, if we get an overlap there, it'd be massive. But we ended up getting a 19 red. That's a solid hit. All right, we got 6 units coming back to us. That was a 19 red. So let's go ahead and punch that in. And right now we did just hit our session high of 30 units. We are using $10 unit sizes, so that's going to be a positive $300. I would be plenty happy checking out right now. That way you're not really risking any more of your bankroll unnecessarily. Okay? So 34 red comes in. 34 red is going to be a solid win for us. And we are in a new session profit of 38 units. We're not far away from our goal. We're really fishing out 50%. Now, I wouldn't do this, realistically in real life, but if this is how you want to play, you want to play a little bit more aggressive, you definitely can do so. But if you're going to play aggressively, I always recommend try to find a strategy that has a little bit lower risk. I always mention low volatility. If it has low volatility, you'll feel safer and more confident using a higher unit size versus trying to put $10 bets on single streets. That'd be absurd, especially if you have, you're playing a strategy that has, a max of 4 to 5 streets. You could definitely lose your bankroll quick doing that way. But then again, on the flip side, right, it's that old saying, scared money don't make money. So these high risk strategies, there's a trade-off. It's either boom or bust quick. All right, we got a 26 black, and that was not a good one. We did hit on the columns, but there was no overlap there, so it was a partial miss. Now we just went down -4 units. Again, haven't used a ton of bankroll on this one. We have it set at $1,000, and that's very conservative. If you want to really stretch this out, ideally you would probably want to do $1,500 to $2,000 bankroll. But again, I do not like to risk unnecessarily. So bunch of back-to-back bad numbers. I believe we just hit the lowest we've been so far at -28 units. And bets are getting pretty high, so we're going to need a good overlapping number. All right, that's not a huge hit, but that was a nice overlap. 26 black came in, and we were up 38 units, again trying to fish out 50 units before we end the session. So two things are going to happen with this. We're either going to make our target goal at 500, right, or 50 units, or we're going to give away $1,000. And we get a 9 red, small win. That's okay. We're really trying to fish out that good juicy jackpot. So just being patient with this one. And we were up $380. Keep that in mind. Like I say, if you're playing for 3%, 10% would be $100, right? So if you even want to be a little bit slightly more aggressive than how I play, instead of shooting for that, 3 to 5% profit, 10%, fairly easy to get $100 on this strategy. And I believe we just hit our low of $430, which is 43 units. And we get a 2 black. 2 black is $200 or 20 units coming back to us. We're going to need a couple juicy wins like that to get back into a session profit. But again, when you look at the layout right here, you have those 4 numbers that are uncovered in the board, right? And then you got the zeros that hurt you. So you got a total of 6 complete whacks. The other ones sometimes tend to be partial misses. Like this one just happened. It's a partial loss of -50 because we got a 31 black. We hit one, but we didn't hit the other. So let's have it place our bets for us. And again, this is keeping track of everything for you. Just makes playing a lot easier, especially when you get into more complex strategies. I wouldn't call this one super complex. You can do it. And remember, guys, when you are at the casino, they frown upon the use of your phone. Okay, they think you're cheating. There's nothing illegal about going the old school traditional route using a pen and paper. So if you do want to run this in a brick and mortar casino, you don't have the option to play online. I understand that. You could definitely keep track with a pen and paper. Okay. I have not seen anybody get kicked out or banned from playing using an old school pen and paper. I actually see it a lot. I was just recently at the casino. My mom loves to play slots. I do not like slots. I feel like you have no control. It's pure luck, but she has great luck with it. So, she wins. But I was just next to a lady, and the lady was just, I don't think she looked up one time through her whole session. The only time she looked up was looking at the wheel. And that was when I was playing they call it over here, they call it stadium roulette, where there's a real wheel, but there's not a real dealer. It just automatically spins. And then there's, seats all the way around. There's about 20 or 30 seats all the way around. So I like to play that way because I think the minimum bet that I'm allowed to play with at my casino that they just built, and it's literally like a mile away from my house. Minimum bet's $2, and I know everyone's casinos are different. So, if your casino has a minimum bet, and it changes too, like the outside bets, they want more as a minimum. Inside, they have different strict restrictions. And honestly, guys, that's because it works into their favor. So that's why I do prefer to play online. Many of you guys have even cheaper options. Some of you guys can play 1 cent. Some of these guys in the inner circle, they can play 10-cent units, 1 cent units. Everyone has, different money, right? I always say too, it's like, you do not want to gamble with money you do not have or can afford to lose. Okay, always keep that in mind. Don't try to, as much as I teach, there's no guarantees. But if you do have the patience and the discipline, you can make some money playing this game. And it's not just this game. You could take what I teach, and if you prefer to play baccarat or something else, you can definitely use that too. I'm going to be sharing some like I said earlier, I'm going to be sharing a lot of bankroll builder plans, and that does help organize things. You need a plan, right? You need a plan if you want to turn this into some side income, or potentially, things are getting more expensive these days, right? Inflation's a real thing. So if you just want to keep up and you're not looking to make, thousands and thousands of dollars, maybe you just want to make a side income. Maybe you want to make a few $100 a month consistently, $1,000 consistently. This is a great way to do it. Like, I have all that information free down in the description below. Just send me your email and I'll send you that package. I got a couple videos that highlight how I refactor my bankroll, how I manage the money, and I'm coming out with more. So that will be posted soon. All right, so it feels like we're on a teeter-totter at this point. We're just going up and down, up and down. This does have a very low volatility, especially when you're creating these two different versions and playing these two different versions together, right? Because you haven't seen a ton of full losses on here. What you've been seeing is a bunch of partial losses, but we're really trying to find that balance of the big overlapping hits versus the losses. And that's a good one right there. That's 20 units coming back to us. That was back-to-back 5 reds. So repeaters will help this one out tremendously. Right now we're back up 25 units. Our highest point was 38 units. And we've had plenty of chances to check out. I mean, $250, now $350. I would say this is a pretty good time to check out. The casinos, the reasons why they give out free drinks is they want you to stay. They want you to lose that inhibition. They want you to be more flexible, more aggressive on your bets, and keep you there longer. The longer you play, the better it works into their hand, and the better chances of the house edge catching up and getting you. Okay, that's why I always bring up, man, you really want to get up and get out, collect your wins. Even if you win $10, you technically beat the casino. You went over there and took their money. That's why I really don't like that term of, I'm playing on casino's money. No, because the casino doesn't see it as, I'm playing with Bill's money. No. Once it's in their side, in their pockets, it's their money. They're not playing with Bill's money or Jeffrey's money. It's their money. So there's a lot of things I talk about too, is like, if you have if it's hard for you to stop, maybe every $100 gain, if you're at the brick and mortar casino, pull out the $100 and put it in your pocket. Okay? And then the remaining $100 you can play with. And if you lose, okay, it's a push. But if you win another $100, boom, take out that other 100. Now you got $200 in your pocket and you're playing with the 100. And if you lose that third go around, you're still up $100. So it's like little things like this. We do gotta. It's hard, right? I've said it in the past. If you cannot control your emotions will control you. All right. If you cannot control your emotions will control you. Think about what I just said. And this is what it is. We get emotional. We get mad. We want our money back. We're like, oh my gosh, all the bad spins are coming out. What's going on? They're targeting me. And that's why we built this tool. This is to put our emotions in check, like that orchestrator tool that we built. That's automating discipline, because you have the ability to put all your profit goals strategy by strategy, but also each stop loss for each strategy. And when you're setting those up, you're in a clear state of mind, right? This is before you're playing. The problem is when you're playing, you get mad, you get upset. You're like, oh, all the bad numbers. There's no way this is going to happen. It does happen, guys. And it's just like, whatever you think it is, whether you think it's nefarious intent on their side and they're doing some trickery, at the end of the day, you're still deciding to go over there and play. You got to play by their rules. Okay. 13 black. And I have personal feelings and opinions about that. And what they do, what they can do, the magnets, everything. I get it. But at the end of the day, I like to play, shoot for that, really, 2-3% to 5%. That way you're staying under the radar, right? You're flying under the radar. Like, think about it. If you're on a roulette table, busy night, and you believe they're doing some trickery, what bet do you think they're going to go after? Do you think they're going to go after your $10 bet? Or if some guy put, I don't know, $800 on black, are they going to go after your $10 bet? Or are they going to go after that guy's $800 bet? So if there is something like that happening, I want to hold my tongue. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get flagged. Again, YouTube is a platform that I use. It's not my platform. It's not my rules. I just got to follow suit. So I'm going to hold my tongue. But just think about it. Are they going to chase your $10 bet or that $800 bet? All right, we got what, 21. We are cycling up and down. I mean, we're close enough to that 50%. We hit 48 units in profit. We were only 2 units away from hitting our goal. That would have been a perfect time to check out versus risking more just chasing that last $20 just because that's your goal, right? These are round numbers. You want to use round numbers. Sometimes I don't hit exactly 2%, 3%, 5%. Some sessions like this one, we're having such a rough time and we're cycling up and down, up and down. After so many times that you've cycled up and down, you got to be like, okay, this is enough. Like, it's just a rough night. It's not working for me. I'm going to check out when I'm in profit. Even though I didn't hit my profit goal, I'm going to check out on some profit. Okay. So keep that in mind too. So 25 red came in. We're going to place our bets. Bet placement is getting higher because we are using $10 units and currently minus 10 units, trying to get back into a session profit, which is crazy too. You would think using this high of units with 2 different strategies, that would need a higher bankroll, but we didn't really dip. I think the lowest we dipped was minus, what was it, minus 48? I think we went minus 48 units. Of course, at the end of the video, we will wrap it up and we'll figure out how low we went. But yeah, let's see. We're going to need some wins because we're just cycling up and down at this point. Currently minus 15 units, minus 150, and we get a 32 red. Is that a good one? 240 coming back. I would say that's pretty solid. So 32 red. And we're back up 9 units. Let's see if we could get a couple back-to-back wins and call it a night. All right. See, that's the thing is we hit that dozen. We did not hit the column. So even though we reduce, and that's another thing to keep in mind, guys, when you're reducing the volatility on any given strategy, you got to expect to have some patience. Even though we increased the unit size, you can see it's still acting very similar to the previous test. It's just cycling up, cycling down. There's a lot of teetering up and down like a seesaw. The great thing about using larger units, though, and then also playing for a lower profit goal, you're going to hit that profit goal a lot quicker, right? So, based off that last test, I was trying to fish out 50 bucks. All right. So if I were just to decide to use a $1,000 bankroll at $10 units, we would have got that already. Would have been checked out, 20, 30 times at this point. So the way you play matters. The way you manage your bankroll matters. And all right, let's see what we get here. We got a pretty hefty bet. That last one was a full whack, so it pushed us down into a negative. And we get a 16 red. 16 red's a solid hit. We'll take it. And looks like we want to hit that first column. And I mean, any overlapping number is going to be some good jackpot. All right, 25 red is, I think it's a full loss. No, it's a partial. We got the hit on the column, but we did not get a hit on the dozen. And we got what? 25, 16, 1, 21. So the column bets stay right there. And then let's see if we could get an overlap right now. Really trying to wrap up this video. But again, I do not play favoritism. I do not play these until I win. Everything gets posted, guys. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I've said it multiple times in the past. And that's really to show you guys and highlight, what, the potential of a strategy, right? There's no perfect holy grail out there that never loses. And those guys that say that, it's not true. It's not true. They're just trying to grab your money, okay? On this channel, I show everything, okay? The only thing I can't show is live play, but like I said earlier, I'm showing that on the website. I could not show that on my channel. And like I said, it's not my platform. So I got flagged, and many of you guys are like wondering, like, why did you get flagged and other people didn't get flagged? I don't know the exact answer. I reached out to YouTube and I didn't get a clear-cut answer. All I know is they gave me some training that I needed to do. And after that, I needed to remove any other content that's like that. And it was very vague, So I can't give you an exact answer why others are allowed to. I suspect maybe it's my area, maybe the state that I live in the US doesn't allow that type of content. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I know many of you guys gave me feedback in the past and said that you were showing the name of the casino on the videos, and that could have been some kind of infringement. Maybe. I don't know. I really didn't want to risk it because these videos, I put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of thought into these strategies and making these for you guys, okay? And it's a win-win because it's not just for you guys and it's not just for me. I like to post everything. I like to test everything out loud, just like that old saying of thinking out loud. That's what I like to do with this channel because you guys always give some solid, great feedback, and we make things better. There's other channels that I follow, and they're constantly creating new strategies, and that's great too because I always keep my eyes peeled for a good new strategy. The only thing I'm really doing different is I stress test these things. I really put them to the test, but I don't want to spend a bunch of time on a strategy that I could see clearly is just not good. But if I come across a new strategy and it has some solid bones, a solid base, how I see it is it's worth the time to invest and fine tune and make even better. That's kind of how I see things. This is really taking a while. We are just going up and down, up and down. So, I really want to run it through for sure. We got near our session goal at a positive 480. Let's give it like 10 more spins, guys, and kind of see what happens. All right. That's a partial miss, 25. So now we got 9 more spins. If not, we might just be here all night. This might be one of those strategies that's just not going to win our profit goal, nor is it going to bust. So I was kind of hoping for either or to happen. 17 black comes in. 17 black is going to be another partial miss. All right. Let's go ahead and place another bet. So we got 8 more to go. I'm just going to make a countdown. 8 more to go. This is our 8 more after this. And we get a 14 red. That's 240 coming back. All right. Now we have 7 more to go. I was really planning, to, play this until it either hit 50 units or busted, but this is running for a long time. All right, we got a good hit right there. 170 coming back. What were we at? 7? Where were we at? 8, 7. Oh, I'm losing track already. I think we're at 7. All right, so this is 7 more to go. 7. I got to remember that. Okay, so the next one's going to be 6. All right. 19 red comes in. Beautiful. 22 coming back to us. And 6. So 6 more to go. No matter where we are, I'm going to have to wrap up the test. If not, the uploading time for this video is going to be hours on end probably. Okay. So 6. We're at 6. After this, it's going to be 5 more to go. We get a 5 red. 5 red's going to be a partial miss. All right. So 5 more. I wasn't keeping track of the spin count on this because I expected it to either hit that target or bust before that 90 spin survival test that I typically do. All right, 17 coming back to us. Now we got 4 more to go. We're up a positive 260. Again, keep in mind, you can see to the left on the software, profit high was 1,480. So starting from $1,000 bankroll, we hit a high of 48 units or $480. This is 4 to go. Next will be 3 to go. All right. So now 3 more to go. And we're up 210. That's some solid profit right there. All right. 3 to go. After this will be 2 more to go as far as spins. 32 red comes in. That's 24 coming back to us. And 2 more to go. So after this one, we will do 1 last spin. And hopefully we get it. Look, now we're very close. We're at 45 units. We're almost at our 50 unit goal. So hey, if we got a hit right here, we might just wrap it up with our session goal. And we get a 10 black. I don't think that's it. Maybe? No, it's not. All right, so one more to go, and then we will wrap up the test. If not, I might be here all night. All right, last one. Win or lose, we're going to wrap this up, guys. Currently, we're in a positive 290. Let's see if we could get a juicy win, and we get a 2 black. Is that a good one? I think it is. Plus 19 units. All right, so 2 came in. Let me just punch that in so the software can register the numbers for us. Okay, we just matched our high. Okay, so we almost hit our profit goal. So essentially, we are 48% of our total bankroll. We were using $10 unit sizes. Keep that in mind. So if you're using dollar unit sizes, this is going to be a $100 bankroll with a dollar unit size. Okay, so we got up 48% of our bankroll back in profit, which is very good. Hard to find strategies that could do that. So let me see. Let me stop this real quick. And right here, starting with a $1,000 bankroll, our ending balance was 1,480. So we did end at the highest we were at, and that's plus 48 units. Okay, we did dip down to what was that? $570 into our bankroll. So we dipped down a minus $430. Okay, so we dipped down minus $430. In trade, we made $480. And total rounds, not quite. I guess this wasn't quite 90 spins, but it felt like a lot longer. Anyways, I will have the red screen right now, and that's going to wrap up today's video. And of course, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm actually going to be running this with a more aggressive strategy, because essentially this strategy was 2 very conservative strategies stacked on top of each other. So that's why there was a lot of, seesawing, a lot of teetering up, teetering down. If you're going to run this way, just keep in mind, once it cycles up, you want to check out. The next version I'm going to stack this one because I think it's a solid base. Either or. I mean, it looks like the columns did just as well as the dozens, but I do want to stack with a more aggressive strategy. I'll show that in an upcoming video. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below as usual. Until next time, guys, be cool, stay cool, peace.